to share how I'm building virtual museums, and I will also show, obviously, I will show an example of something that I created, and also I will share how to build an online escape room or a quest. And we will have some time to practice, like every meeting, I will give some time to practice and to be able to try yourself to create one of these tools and ideas. And if we will have more time, I will speak a bit about different ideas and websites that helps me to create presentations and to play a bit with videos and animation. This is the plan for this meeting. I would like to start by asking if anyone who is with us right now is willing to share something that you have created with one or few of the websites or apps or tools that we have shared in the last two meetings. Is there anyone who did something, an activity, or any kind of usage with one of the apps? I would love to hear.
Можно говорить?
אני שומע אותך. I can hear you.
Да, мы сейчас планируем начать, точнее не начать, мы уже готовим игру для EJT, своя игра из приложения Jeopardy, по-моему, оно так называется. И так как чем больше человек, тем лучше, то мы будем собираться как бы в клубе. И плюс еще мы будем делать республиканской, пригласим ребят из других клубов EJT. И разобрались с этим приложением, там довольно классно, что может сразу несколько команд, и каждый начислять очки, и будем это делать на платформе вот этой вот jeopardy.com.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that. It's a great app, and I'm happy to hear that you're using it to your educational needs. Good job. You know, it's not easy to jump in and to start working with new tools, and I'm very happy to hear that you're doing it. Thank you for sharing.
Спасибо вам большое.
Is there anyone else who would like to share any kind of activity that you created with one of the tools? Okay, so let's jump into what I was planning to show today. Let me share my presentation. So for today, as I said, I want to start with how I'm using virtual reality, how I'm creating virtual tours and virtual museums. So the first app that I want to show you called Art Steps. Art Steps is a really, really unique app. I think the first reason is because it's totally free. And you can use it as much as you want, and I will show you in a second what it can do. If I'm not mistaken, Art Steps, and you have the link here, is the only app that I have showed you that does not have the option that the app itself will be in Russian. The app itself is in English, but you can always do right-click and ask to translate your website to Russian. And I want to show you an example of what I created with Art Steps. The idea of Art Steps is creating a virtual museum, as I said. Now, it is a bit heavy website because you will see in a second the graphics here is great. So it takes some time to load, and it also takes some time, you need to know, to register. So when we will have some time to practice, if you will want to practice and to build a virtual museum, then I recommend for you to try this one. The idea of Art Steps, as I said, is creating a virtual museum. Now you can see that I'm building a virtual museum, and I'm the one who is moving right now to the right and to the left. This virtual museum is about Israel and Israel through my eyes, and there are different pictures here, as you can see, that are from Israel. And I can walk in the museum. You can see the steps here. And when I press the steps, then it takes me to the place that I pressed on. And if I'm pressing a specific picture, you can see the description here. And then I can show basically whatever I want, I can show to them. And I can present them what I want to do. I want to show you how I'm building this museum, and I will do it in a second. The second website that I want to show you called is how to create a virtual tour. Now, there are two apps that I recommend to use. The one is a bit more complicated. The Round Me one is a bit more complicated. And the second one is easier, but the final result, I would say, is less professional. So if you wanted to be high professional, I recommend to use Round Me. And if you don't really care about how professional the virtual tour is, then you can use this website called Tour Creator. This is how a virtual tour looks like. As you can see, there are pictures from Israel in that case, and we can go in between places, and I can press on it, for example, and we can move to the next stop. So I will post the link for Round Me in the chat for people who want to use it. But as I said, I recommend not to use Round Me unless you want to do something more professional, and then you can go on Round Me and you will understand, I think, how to use it. I want to show you how to use Tour Creator of Google. So Google, what is very good about Google when creating virtual tour, and obviously everything can be in Russian in Google, and I will put the link on the chat right now. So if you want to create a virtual tour, you can also do it. The virtual tour of Google is based on Google Maps. So when I do get started, what you will be able to see is that I can create my own personal tour. And just a second, it will load. Meanwhile, while I'm speaking, I will share that what is unique and what is good about Google Tour is that it's based on Google Maps. And because there are many places in Google Maps that are Google Street View, we can play with it. So when I'm pressing New Tour, over here, you can see it. Okay, right here. If your Google is in Russian, then it will be in Russian also. I can go to a tour that I created. Here, this is an example of a tour. And then I can go and add a scene. When I'm adding a scene, then as you can see, I can go to wherever I want in the world because it's based on Google Maps. And as I said, I don't know why it's not loading, but I can choose any place that I want. I can locate this little guy over here. And then you can see here that I have this specific place. Now I can go to wherever I want in the world, and I can check. Here, let's take this little guy to Europe. Okay, and now I'm going in a bit. And if I want to go in, for example, in Russia, I can check what places we have Google Maps. And then, as you can see, I can go, for example, in Moscow and choose a specific place, and I can add this place as a scene. So I can look for a place. Let's say I want, and I can zoom in as much as I want because it's Google Maps. So I can choose a specific place. Here you can see that there is a picture. And then by pressing add scene, I can give a name to this place, I can give a description, etc., etc., and then I can use it. And in that way, I am using it in a way that I can create to my students or my participants, I can create a virtual tour. And let's say that I'm saying this is place number 1. Now I want to add another place. So I'm pressing, as you saw, add scene. Again, I need to look for the specific place that I am looking for. Let's say that the second place that I want is in the US. Just for the example, it's in Utah. Okay, just a random place. And then add scene. And when I added it, you can see that we have it on our tour. And that way we can do it, we can create a virtual tours that will be, as we said, that our participants can go and visit and actually tour around. And it's a fun way. And as I said, I highly recommend for those of you who are planning to create something like that to use the tour creator, because I think it is very, very easy. So this is Tour Creator, and this is how I'm using it to create virtual tours. Let me stop the sharing for a second and ask if there are any questions about creating virtual tours. Any questions, something about virtual tours? Okay, so if there aren't any, oh, just a second, I see. I'm moving. Julia, what's on the chat? Okay, great. Thank you, Julia. So I'm now sharing how I'm using Art Steps. So as I said, Art Steps is the platform, the tool that I'm using to create virtual museums. So when I go to Art Steps, and you have the link to the website itself on the chat. As you can see, I'm already signed in. So your first steps should be that to sign in. It may take some time. After you're signing in, you have the option of create here. So let's say I'm going to create. Then it, as you can see, to build a museum, there are 5 steps in Art Steps. And those are the steps over here. The first step for creating a museum is to define your space. And let me translate it to Russian here. Now you can see it in Russian. So step number 1 is to build your steps, your space. After when creating the space, the museum itself, you have 2 options. Option 1 is to create your own. So you can go here. As you can see, you have construction tools here. And as you can see, I can press from here to here. Then I have a wall. And if I want to place a door, then I can place a door, and then I'm building my own museum. I recommend for those of you who are beginning to play with it, not to build yourself. I highly recommend for the first exercise, for try to practice, to take the templates. Here you can see to the left, there are a few templates. Now they have 3. They are saying that there will be more. For example, let's say I'm choosing the second template. As you can see, it will download, and then I will have this template. If I'm not satisfied with this template, I can choose a different one. Okay, and again, if you want to design your own, it is possible. It takes some time to understand how to work with it. My recommendation, at least for the beginning, for this, when we will practice now, is not to build yourself, but to choose, for example, this venue, this museum. After I chose this museum, I can scroll up and go, and as you can see, I don't have step number 2, because step number 2 is designing your space. If I'm not mistaken, design your space. By designing your space, it means that you can choose what color the floor will be, what color the ceiling will be, etc., etc. If you chose a template for that is ready, you cannot design your space. As you can see, if I will go back to define my space, and I will choose to create my own, and I will build a wall, okay, just for the sake of the example, then I can go to design your space, and as you can see, I can change the colors of the wall, I can change whatever I want. But as I said, I don't recommend at the beginning to start building. So I don't want to save, and I want to use this venue, this museum. Then step number 3 will be add and place your artifacts. What type of images you want, images and videos, as you can see here, you want to put in your museum. So now when you have this vision of your museum, you need to decide what are the pictures and the different art that you want to put on your walls. So, and here, as you can see, I have the start button, so I can decide where I want my tour to start and what direction I want the person to see. And when I will do switch view, I can view it from a perspective of a visitor. If I'm switching again, then I see it from above, and again, I can play with it. I'm the one who is now playing with it. But as you can see, I can also play with it like I'm in the museum itself. Let's say that I want to put here my first image. The way how I do it, I go to add image, then I'm changing to file, and then I'm choosing the file that I want to drag. Then I need to give a title, any kind of title that I need to give to this image. Okay, now you can see it in Russian. So I need to choose file, then I need to choose the file itself that I want to load to my museum, and then I need to give a title. Okay, I have to give a title to the image. Let's say that I chose this image just for the sake of the example, and the name is 1234. Then I save it. After I save it, as you can see, it appears here. Here is the list of all the different apps that I have on my list. Okay, this is all the apps that I loaded to my museum. Now, how I can insert this specific image to the museum? I press one press on it, then you can see the other images became gray. It means that I have the image. Again, now I have the mouse. When I press on the image, the rest became gray, and now I can play with it. I can decide where I want to put it. Okay? So if I decided to put it here, another click, and then I have the image out here. Now I can see that maybe it's too big. I can press on scale here, and I can play with it if I want to make it a bit smaller. As you can also see, when pressing on an image, there are 3 arrows, one green, one, I'll show you when I'm in front of the image. I have yellow, I have, oh, sorry, I want to move it. I have green, I have red, and I have blue. If I want to move it to the right, to the left, if I want to put it up or down, or if I want to make it closer to me or farther than me, I can also play with it like that, and then I can create the image that I want on this board. Okay, so playing with it, if I want it like this or closer to me, then I have the image. And now basically I can go to wherever I want, and I can place the images that I want to place on the museum. So let me go for a second in the museum, for example. Here is the museum. Let's say that I want to use, just for the example, this image, and I want this image on the wall here. So here I'm on next to the wall, one press, then I can move it here, and now it's located on the wall. And as I said, now I can move to next number 4, to step number 4 and 5 after I want to finish my museum. So after you have done all this, step 4 is only if you want guided tour, meaning, yes, plan a guided tour. So as you can see here on stage number 4, if you want to create for yourself a guided tour, meaning that your participants will be able to go around and just see the exhibits on the wall without actually him or her pressing and going from one exhibit to another, you can plan what is the tour that the participants will see, what is the order of the exhibits, and what they will see, etc., etc. You can plan it. And if not, you need to go to step number 5. And here you can give a name to your museum. And if you want participants to be able to go online and see your museum, then you have to switch this on. Basically, you're asking the app to publish it, to make it public. And now you can take the link and you can share it with everyone that you want, and they can tour around the museum. So this is basically it. I must say, and let me stop the share for a second, because I know that it is a bit complicated website. The tool itself is a bit complicated. And I know that it takes some time for people to practice it and to understand. And I highly recommend to practice it few times before you're actually sending a museum to your participants. I can tell you that even for me today, after I have tried to create few, it takes some time. It takes some time to play with it. It takes some time to create what I want, and it is a bit complicated. But as I said, and I think you have it on the chat, yes, art steps. When we will split into rooms and you will have some time to practice. For those of you who want, it is a great, I think, opportunity to practice it. Any questions? Someone who would like to ask anything about the art steps? Okay, so if there are no questions, let me continue. I will close this, it will be easier. I want to show you an example of the escape room that I can offer you how to build. So I need to say that there are few ways of how to create escape room, virtual escape room. I know that some people are using Padlet to create escape rooms. It is also a possibility. I know that some people are using Google Forms, if you're familiar, and I know that there are different ways how to create. What I want to show you today, I'm not sure that this is the best way, but in my eyes at least, what I'm going to show you gives me the most possibilities and different options, I would say, when I'm actually using the escape room and when I'm playing with it and when I'm doing different riddles, and it gives me a lot of range when it comes to the questions itself. So let me show you an example of an escape room that I created. So here is one example. This is an escape room. It's in English, basically, but we translated it through Google, as you can see here, to Russian. This is an escape room that is based on a book, a novel called Someone to Run With, by an Israeli author named David Grossman. This is his name. And the escape room is based on the book. So as you can see, the first page to the escape room is the welcome page. And here you have a button that sends you to the beginning. So it says, let's start. So we are starting. I recommend that the first page after the welcome page, meaning the second page, will be a page that in a way tells the story. So as you can see here, we are telling the story of the book. This is the background story. And when I'm pressing here, I'm actually starting the escape room. Now, as you can see here, we have a question. So if you read the book, one of the first chapters in the book, the men with the dog, they are visiting Jerusalem, and they're stopping in a pizza place. So this is the first question. Go check how much a specific pizza cost in a pizza place in Jerusalem. So let's say that you checked and you know the answer. So when you press here and you want to go to the third page, to the next riddle, then as you can see, you have to insert a password. And basically, this is how I am mimicking in a way, or this is how I am using the virtual world in order to create a lock. This is how I'm actually locking a web page, and this is how I can create an escape room. So the answer is 79, just for the example. And when I do go or continue, you can see it takes me to the next page, okay? And here is another example that I created for a school in America. And this, just a second, this example is visiting Israel, for example. So here is the boarding pass of the flight. When you press on it, you fly to Israel. And as you can see here, the title is, let me translate it, Welcome to Israel. And the first stop in Israel is always the Ben Gurion airport. So the task here is to watch a short video on YouTube and learn a bit about David Ben Gurion's life. And then the task is to arrange the right events in David Ben Gurion's life. It's a timeline where you can press when he announced the state and when he was born, when he passed away, etc., etc. Only if you're checking your answers and everything is green, you can press I know the answer, and you can continue to, as I said, to the guest area or to the place where is locked. And this is how I'm creating an escape room. Any questions about that before I'm sharing how I'm doing it? Okay, so let me share how I'm creating a virtual escape room. I'm using a platform called Wix. I found it very easy. Wix is a platform, it's an Israeli platform actually, to create websites. Here you have the link in your chat. So for those of you who would like to start and creating virtual escape rooms, it is also a possibility in about 20 minutes, more or less, when we will have some time to practice. And the way how I'm creating the escape room is basically I'm building a website. As I said, Wix is a platform for building a website. When I'm going to build a website, or when I'm creating my website, here I want to show you an example that I've already started to create. This one will be in English. I do apologize, but as I will show you now, it is very easy to switch the language in Russian to Russian, in Wix. Okay, so you just go to the settings over here. You go to this globus. This is the language option, and you switch to Russian. And then everything, all the options, everything that I'm showing right now, everything will be in Russian, and it will be easier for you. So how do I do it? This is the page, the Wix editor page. This is how it looks like. They are now showing me how it looks like when I am building a website. As you can see, let me see if I can translate here to Russian, and then it will be maybe easier. No, I can't translate this to Russian, and I do apologize because I won't understand what's in here. But as I said, everything is also optional in Russian. Let's see if I can change it quickly. No. So to the left, you can see here that I have few options. The first one is menus and pages. This is the menu. This is the place where I can switch in between the pages. So let's say that this is how my website looks like. Okay, I decided to put this title here. If I want to add another title, I'm pressing on the plus button here, and then I can choose text, and I can just add another heading and say hello. Okay, it works in Russian, in Hebrew, in any language that you want. Now I have another title here, and as you can see, I can just press on it, and I can just move it from one place to another. All the rest I can change very easily. Let's say that I want to change the background. I press on the background and change page background. And as you can see, I can choose my own image, but I can also choose an image that I have here. And if my escape room is about a specific topic, I can choose an image that reflects that topic. And let's say that I want this background is more appealing to me. I can press on it. As you can see, in a second, the background will change. If I want to see how it looks like, I can press on the preview button, and then it will show me how it looks like. Now I can see that the hello is white. Maybe I need to change the color because it doesn't look good from a design perspective. So again, I can edit text, and let's say I want to choose a different color. Let's say I want purple. Here, I changed the color. It's very easy. Now, as I said, usually what I'm doing is that the first page is welcome page, welcome to my escape room. So it can be Israel escape room or just welcome. Okay, I want to say hi to my participants. Welcome, hello. Then I should take them to page number 2. I'm doing it by creating a link. How I'm creating a link? Here I use the button. How I use the button? I press the add, and here I have button. As you can see, I have button. I press on button, and I can change whatever I want. So I can change text, and I create, and I write, let's go, or let's start, or whatever I want, okay? Then after creating this button, let's say I did this, when pressing on this icon, that is a chain, this is a chain of a link. And then it asks me to where do I want to take the link to? So I say that I want to take the link to page number 1. Page number 1 will be, and if I'm going to menus and pages, will be the page that I have the riddle. And here is an example of the page that I gave the riddle to. And here is the riddle that I'm using, just for the sake of the example. I said, here is a page with facts about Israel. As I said, this is an example of escape room about Israel. Coloring the facts that are true will give you a number. This is the riddle. So if I do preview, you will be able to see that there is a link here. And when pressing the link, in a second, you will see that there is a page with facts about Israel. And if you're coloring all the facts that are true, you will get the number 4, because this is correct, here, 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 and here. So you will get the number 4. Then I want this link to be a closed link, a locked link. So what do? I want to show you. I go to menus and pages, and for page number 2, this is the page that if you have the right answer to this riddle, it will take you. You can see that there is a small key next to it over here. When I press the 3 dots and go to settings, there is an option called permissions. Again, when I go to page number 2, the 3 dots, settings, there is an option called permissions. Here, it asks me, who can view this page? I have the option of everyone, and then it's open to everyone. But if I choose password holders, meaning only people who have the password, I can say that the password will be 4. And now, when I define that the password is 4, and I will go back and back, you can see that next to page number 2, I have this icon of a key, meaning it's locked. And if I want to show you actually how it looks like, I'm pressing on publish, and then I'm doing view site. And you can see now, if you will go online to this website, this is what you will see. When I do let's start, as you saw, I have the website that I created. And if I will say, what is the answer? I will have to insert, like before, I will have to insert a password. Now the password is 4, and then continue. And only then I will be able to continue to the next page. So I know that it's a bit complicated. I will stop sharing for a second and ask if there are any questions. Okay, so I'm assuming we don't have any questions. So what we will do now, if there aren't any questions, I will split all of us into rooms, and I will go in between the rooms, and I will try to help as much as I can with you practicing. In the chat right now, you have links to 4 different websites or tools. You have the art steps. This is the virtual museum. You have the round me and the tour creator. This is the second and the third. As I said, those are the links for online virtual tour. Okay, if I want to create a tour somewhere, I recommend for you to use the tour creator and not the round me. It's easier. Okay, and now I reposted it. And as I said, this is the art steps, and also to the weeks. So you have three options. You can create virtual museum, you can create virtual tour, or you can create virtual escape room. Okay, you can decide whatever you want. As I said at the beginning, this is a bit more complicated than the other tools and apps that I have shared in the last 2 meetings. It may take a bit time to understand it, and it also may take some time even to sign in. For example, to register to the art steps takes few minutes because you need to put your email, then they're sending you confirmation mail, and only after you're pressing the link on your confirmation email, then you can actually start and creating your own museum. So I will give for that exercise 25 minutes, okay? I will do 5 rooms. Each room will have a few participants. And as I said, let's say 25 minutes, me and Yulia together, we will go in between the rooms, and I will be able, you will be able to ask any questions that you want. I just want to remind you that when I am with Yulia in a room, then the interpretation channel is not working. So if you want, if we need a translation, then please ask a question, let Yulia to translate it. I will be able to answer, Yulia will translate, and it's not simultaneously as we're doing right now. Before I'm opening the rooms, are there any questions? Great, so you have the links in the chat. Please choose now what app you want to choose, you want to practice and to experience. Press it now when the website will load. I will give it 10-15 seconds, and then I will split you into the rooms. So choose now. And me and Yulia will start going around. Okay, so we have everyone back. Let's see that the interpretation is working. I would love to hear if anyone wants to share what you have started to create and how was it to working with the different tools. I saw some great virtual tours. So if you can share with us.
Я могу поделиться нашим, если интересно. Ну, собственно, вы его видели.
Yes, but if everyone can see it, I think it would be nice, just, you know, to see the process.
Не могу отправить в чат почему-то. Вот.
You can share your screen if you want.
Это ссылка на наш тур, но он получился всего с 3 местами. Ну, как бы понятно, как это делать.
Yes. So you have here, this is actually Yulia's childhood memory. And we can move to a second scene and to see another place. And I could read any description and then also a third place. And as you can see, we can also insert some information points. So we can write, for example, what is this exactly place, etc., etc. And it can be very, very helpful and fun to create tours like that. How was the experience working with the tour creator?
Сначала показалось, что это сложно, но когда мы разобрались, оказалось, что это вообще довольно легко делать. И мы в нашей группе подумали, что вот с приложением Art Steps можно сделать тоже экскурсию по таким местам, но при этом еще поискать в интернете фотографии, как эти же места, эти города выглядели там в 50-м году, ну и дальше, и посравнивать.
That's a great idea. Great idea. And then the people can actually walk in the museum that shows the history of their city. Thank you for sharing.
Спасибо за это приложение, это клевая идея.
Great, I'm happy. Anyone else would like to share what they worked with or final or result? Okay, so we have about 15 minutes before finishing our session. I think it's maybe a good opportunity to share some other small tools that I'm using on a daily basis, at least for me. I want to show you a great app that I'm using whenever I need to create or to use a picture and I want to delete the background. I'll give you an example. Oh, not this here. This is the remove background. It's a great website. I'm sure that you're familiar a situation where you want to use a specific picture, but then you have something in the background that is not related to the picture. So remove background. This is a free website. I will show you an example. Let's say that I want to upload, that I want an image. Okay, let's go, for example, to my pictures, and I want to choose a specific image. Let's say I want to take this picture. Okay, so here is the original picture. And as you can see, automatically, the website knows where the person in the picture is, and it deletes the entire background. And now you have the image only of the person. So you can use it for multiple usage. You can use it with multiple scenarios. Usually for me, when I need to take a specific person from a picture, I can also edit it, as you can see, and I can also add some effects if I want, or I can change the background if I want, and then I can download this picture directly with the new background, for example. And in my eyes, you know, it's a great way to use it and to create different graphic designs with it. I see that there is a question. Let me just change for the Russian. Yes, Julia? No. Video is much more complicated to delete. It is working only with images, with pictures. But at least in my eyes, it's a great app. I'm using it really on a weekly basis. I think almost every week I have something that I need to delete. In general, when you will get this slide, because you will get all the slides from all the 3 meetings, you have here a slide about graphics, videos, and presentations. So you do have here few options that you can use, you can play with. I want to show you from this slide 2 more tools. One of them is Coolors. Coolors, I find it very, again, very good tool, very helpful, especially for those of you who are creating presentations. I'm not coming from artistic background, but apparently in the art world there is an idea, or there is a way how you match colors. What is the right color that can match with another color? So here is a website that can help you match your colors, because I will put the link in a second in the chat. Let's say that I want my presentation to be, let's say, just for the example, in orange. Okay, this is the color that I chose that I want my presentation to be. So I can go here to this generator, and I can choose here, I can choose what is the color that I see right now. Okay, here is, or let me play with it a second. I don't understand it in Russian, so I'll switch to English for a second. Okay, so here is the color, and I can play with it as much as I want. Let's say that I want it more here, and now I switched, and let's say that this is the orange that I want to play with. I can lock this color, and then every time that I will press the space bar, the app will show me the colors that match this orange. You can see, I can press, and it gives me or contradicting colors or matching colors. And then, for example, I can go back to my presentation and say, okay, I really like this, for example, this color, this light blue, and I want to use this color in my presentation. So I can choose this color, and I can go back. Or let's say I can continue pressing, and I like this pink, etc., etc. So again, this is at least a tool that I'm using often. And the third app that I want to show you from here, it's Pixabay and Unsplash. I don't have the link here, but it will be helpful. Pixabay, and I will show you. Pixabay is a website that you can use free images and videos. You can see here videos and illustrators and photos and everything. I'm assuming that you're probably aware that whenever you're creating a presentation or anything, and you want to use a specific picture, if you're only Googling it and finding a picture, this picture may have rights on it. People basically can sue you for using their images or videos without permission. So I really like Pixabay, and here I will insert the link. I really like it because let's say that I want a picture. Let's say I'm giving a presentation about, I don't know, anything, and I want to show that I'm happy about it. So I can write happy or anything that I want. And all the pictures that you see here, you can use it free of charge. And the people who took the pictures gave up on their rights. Okay, the same for videos. Instead of images, I can press video, and all the videos here, you can use them as much as you want, however you want. So let's say that you want to create it for a presentation, or even if you want to put it on a museum, for example. So you want to do a presentation about, I don't know, people playing in their cell phones. So here is a good high quality video that you can take. Another one that I'm using is Unsplash, very familiar, very known, but as much as I know, this is only for images. So let's say that I want to create a presentation about success. Okay, I can write success here. And if I'm looking for an image that will reflect success, I can very easily choose any kind of image from here, and you can be calm to use it however you want. And at least in my eyes, it's a great tool that I'm using very often. I would like to conclude our 3 meetings. and then I will also have some time for questions. So whenever I'm concluding a session about using technological tools, I'm always asking if you are familiar with this character. This is a drawing, a character of a person called Nusret. Nusret is a famous Turkish chef. He has a nickname. He is Salted Bear. This is his nickname. Nusret was a regular chef, and he had his own restaurant in Turkey. But then he realized that he needs to have something special. So he started to pour the salt on the meat that he is serving in a special way. He started to spice up the food that he is serving by pouring the salt on his elbow direct to his meat. And from that technique, he became a superstar, really. He have now a lot of restaurants worldwide, and all the famous celebs in the world, they want to go and eat in his restaurant. I can even share with you that in Israel, I know that there is a company in Israel that what they do is they take you from Israel on a flight to Turkey, you go to eat meat at his restaurants, and then you fly back to the airport and they fly you back to Israel. So he became a superstar because he realized how to take something regular, but to spice it in a special way. Why do I share it with you? Because at least in my eyes, using technology in your educational process, in your educational lessons, or with doesn't matter who is your audience. So using technology in your online sessions is spicing up the online session. And when using special way to spice up things, you become a superstar. And it's not missing. Look at Nusret and what happened to him. So I would say if there are any questions right now, I would love to hear questions, any comments, someone who would like to ask about any kind of tool that we worked today, I would love to hear. And I will move to the interpretation to hear from Yulia.
То пока я вижу, что пока вопросов нету, я хочу поблагодарить Шломи за цикл лекций, который он нам дал, эта группа и предыдущая группа. Я думаю, Шломи, что ты нам дал возможности познакомиться с новыми инструментами, открыл новый мир для многих от нас. И на основе отзывов, которые я получаю от участников ваших курсов, я понимаю, что это дал много для всех. Поэтому спасибо. Я надеюсь, что мы будем продолжать работать. И, ребята, я говорю с участниками курса, если есть какие-то пожелания, хотите второй курс для продвинутых и так далее, пишите, пожалуйста, скажите. Деби будет послать письмо всем, для того, чтобы спросить, что еще нужно. Если будут потребности, я верю, что Шломи будет найти время для этого. Поэтому туда раба, Шломи. Спасибо.
Шломи and Yulia, toda oba. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Asi, for your kind words. I want to say that all the slides, Debbie has them, so she will send all the slides, and also we created an Excel sheet with the link of the tool and a short sentence that's explaining or reminding what this tool is doing. So they will send you everything. Thank you very much again, Asi and Debbie, for inviting me. Yulia, thank you so much for the translation and helping a lot. I really hope that it was helpful. Good luck and a lot of health.
Спасибо всем за организацию таких вот вебинаров, потому что это для нас очень важно, для работы. Спасибо Дебби, Асе, и спасибо Шломи, и за перевод тоже спасибо большое. Мы еще должны разбираться, потому что сразу все это не заходит в голову. Вот, поэтому если будет такая возможность и есть вот эти записи, пожалуйста, если можно, пришлите, пожалуйста, по почте. Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great day.